Now I'd like to introduce someone who is a tireless advocate and has inexhaustible support for Maryland's educators, and it's benefited all of us. We're very lucky to have him on our side. I don't know how he feels every day coming up to the 5th floor where it's almost all women, but he does a good job of supporting us. Well, it is all women except you, David. He does a good job of supporting us, tolerating all those females, and making sure that the job is getting done that needs to be done. So please give it up for our Executive Director, David Helfman.
Delegates, I landed my first job in my junior year of high school. A friend of my parents owned a drugstore, and I worked the counter, stocked the shelves, and cleaned the store, all for $1 an hour. After my first year, I asked the owner, guy who I fondly refer to as Buck an Hour Marv, for a raise. When he refused, I staged my first job action. I quit and found a new job on the north side of Pittsburgh, in a warehouse, working as a janitor. Overnight, I doubled my income. Now, students of labor relations will realize that I didn't really stage a job action. A job action is an organized activity by a group of workers designed to use their power to influence their employer. A strike, a work to rule, informational pickets, slowdown, these are all examples of job actions. I helped organize my first job action, targeting a new Hilton hotel in Madison, Wisconsin. In order to protest the hotel's resistance to recognizing a union, a group of college students trickled into the hotel's restaurant, one at a time, and each of us requested a table. We spent time pondering the menu and all of its choices. Ultimately, nobody ordered any food. We just ordered a cup of coffee or tea. Eventually, the manager realized what was going on and called in the police. The police told us that they had to close the restaurant for the day, and they escorted us out. To make a long story short, as a result of this and other actions, the union organizing drive was successful. And I had discovered my passion. I graduated from Wisconsin, earned a master's degree at Cornell at the Labor School, and then went directly from grad school to the research staff at the Pennsylvania State Education Association. Over the years, I've witnessed both growth and defeat in the labor movement. Now in my 35th year, I can say that today, here in Maryland, our union stands at both its strongest and most precarious point in history. First, let's talk about strength. When I came here in 2005, we had 62,500 members. Today, we're 10,000 members larger. Our average instructional salary was $54,300. Today, it's $15,000 higher. The remarkable aspect of both of these gains is that they occurred over a decade in which we experienced the worst recession in 80 years. But strength is not only about membership numbers or salary growth. It's about deepening relationships, being responsive to member needs, understanding the importance of collaboration. At the state level, our position of strength enabled us to convene a meeting of local affiliate presidents and their superintendents in our own building, our house, to strategize on maintaining local control of teacher and principal evaluation models. It enabled Betty and Cheryl to drive the structuring of the SLO cadre training and ensure that local affiliates can control that work in their own locals. Now let me share a secret. You can't tell anyone. But MSEA isn't the only one collaborating from a position of strength. Many of our locals have been doing it and have been doing it for quite some time. Montgomery County, MSEA, is a shining star in this area, both for Maryland and, frankly, the entire nation. Dorchester County's NEA Keys initiative is another example, and Prince George's County just initiated its new peer assistance and review program. Check it out, up on the screen. Give it up for Prince George's. This is a picture of the first class of cooperating teachers at the ceremony last week with school system representatives signing the Peer Assistance and Review Memorandum of Understanding. Who's on who's in that group over there? Let's stand up. Why do I focus attention on some of these initiatives? Because not one of the market-based strategies for reforming schools to improve student performance has been successful. Not vouchers, not charters, not adding merit pay or eliminating tenure, not value-added testing, and certainly not making employment decisions based on high-stakes student tests. What has worked? Well, according to a study released earlier this year by Rutgers University professor Saul Rubenstein and fellow researcher John McCarthy, the quality of formal union management partnerships focused on issues such as use of student performance data, curriculum development, cross-subject and cross-grade integration, professional development, and both formal and informal mentoring is directly related to and a significant predictor of improvement in student performance. And that's after taking poverty and school type into account. NEA certainly understands this. It recently launched a training hub based in Montgomery County. It's located at the MSEA office and called the Montgomery Institute. Becky mentioned it in her comments yesterday. Here's what NEA's Jim Testerman said this past week about the Institute. By using foundational organizing skills, the Montgomery Institute helps teams build plans to use public narrative to lead changes in their districts and fundamentally alter the nature of the relationship between the district and the union. District-union collaborations are crucial to creating and sustaining changes that will improve teacher practice, grow teacher leaders, and positively impact decisions affecting students by engaging teachers in the decision-making process. Now, I know this narrative of the union, strong, understanding its responsibility to advocate for members, and clear about the opportunities that labor management partnerships can have for educator and student success, does not align with the narrative being told by those who want to destroy us. So let's shift our focus from our strength to that precarious position. Admittedly, we dodged a bullet when the Supreme Court decided the Harris versus Quinn case on narrow grounds. We did not lose agency fee. But we're not out of the woods. There's danger of losing it in the courts. Harris involved home health care workers, while Friedrichs versus the California Teachers Association, currently rising through the court system, involves teacher locals. It's more directly on point. Agency fee could also be wiped out legislatively by a Republican-controlled U.S. Senate. In recent years, anti-union forces have dismantled union protections like agency fee and payroll dues deduction in places like Arizona, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Michigan. Now they're looking for other targets. The Mackinac Center for Public Policy is a nonprofit, tax-exempt research and educational institute dedicated to improving the quality of life for all Michigan residents by promoting sound solutions to state and local policy questions. That's what it says on its website. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yep. Let's look at a video to see how they're spending their time and money this year.
Mackinac Center just launched the website augustoptout.org, and what August Opt-out does is it simply provides MEA members, teachers, and school support staff with the information and resources they need if they so choose to opt out of their union membership, which unfortunately, according to MEA bylaws, the union says that they can only do during the month of August. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that all of those MEA members know that August is their month to opt out, hence the name of the website, augustoptout.org. We're simply providing information that is really not out there. The MEA provides a lot of information of why teachers should stay in their union, and you know what, the teacher likes the representation, or the MEA member likes the representation that they're getting from their union, hey, they have every right and they have every ability to stay and to continue paying dues. But unfortunately, on the other side, they don't have a lot of information on if they want to opt out of the MEA. So that's what augustoptout.org does. It simply provides the information of this is how you can opt out, this is when the MEA says you can opt out, and these are the resources that you can use to exercise your rights.
Improving the quality of life for all Michigan residents? Really? Let's look at that August Opt-out website that they've developed. Here it is, a website that is designed to reach out to NEA members and direct them to drop their membership. Look at what else I found on Mackinac Center's website. A bio for Lorraine G. Monk. Previously on the center staff, Mackinac is still promoting the book she authored and they published, teaching school boards how to dismantle union contracts. Anyone in this room run across Lorraine Monk before? Stand up. Yes, Monk was the attorney who magically appeared on our lower shore advising key leaders in Wicomico County, in the Wicomico County Education Association, and on how to disaffiliate with MSEA and NEA. Betty talked about this yesterday. She really talked about the organizing efforts of our members in Wicomico. I want to talk about something very different. I want to talk about the outside influence. Now, Monk privately told board members in Wicomico County that she was an attorney and they should listen to her advice on changing the bylaws. She knows how this gets done. Publicly, though, she said she was only in Salisbury to discuss liability insurance. She wasn't practicing law. That's because she's never been licensed to practice law in Maryland, and she did not want the Maryland Attorney's Grievance Commission to know what she was really up to. Want to see her true colors? Now, I have a question for you. How many times have you told your students, or perhaps your own children, to be careful on the computers? Once you send an email or a text message, it never really disappears. How many of you have given that counsel, that advice? I sure know that Christy Anderson, our general counsel, has given that advice to our members. Here's one that Monk mistakenly left behind. Now at the bottom, I don't expect you to read this, but at the bottom, her signature appears, Law Office of LeRae G. Monk, PC, Howell, Michigan. Now let's take a little bit of a close-up, and it's still small print, so I'm going to read it to you on the next slide. Monk writes to the leaders who had been leading the disaffiliation move in Wicomico County, quote, "When I heard last night that you had all decided to resign on Tuesday and allow these enemies of truth and freedom to just have their way, it was to my heart as though you would be telling Hitler and the worst of the villains of freedom that they would be allowed free rein, because that is what NEA MSEA is doing to our children and our education system, destroying it. That may sound dramatic, but look at the policies they are pushing and where those policies are taking education." That was directed at everyone in this room. As though you would be telling Hitler and the worst of the villains of freedom that they would be allowed free rein. Now she continues on encouraging a suit against members in Wicomico County and MSEA. And I end this with quote, all attorney fees and costs covered, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In fact, legal action was initiated in Wicomico County Circuit Court against 9 WCEA members and MSEA. The attorney, Robin Cockey. Well, who is Robin Cockey? And was he being paid with WCEA dues dollars? Cockey is a local Salisbury attorney who specializes in civil litigation. He did more than file a suit. He was actually spending time in Wicomico County, in the buildings, attending local association building meetings. I ran into him at one meeting that I was at Parkside High School. Cockey denied being on the association's payroll. So who was funding his work? Cockey answered this question in a letter he wrote to past President Kelly Stevenson, arguing that the local could disaffiliate and still remain the exclusive bargaining representative. He was wrong about that, by the way. Clearly did not understand labor law. You'll find him identifying his funding source at the very end of the 3-page letter, written in small font type. Here it is. It's embedded in the computer document file name, the Center for Independent Employees. The Center for Independent Employees. So, next question, you might wonder, who are they? The Center for Independent Employees, CIE, is a nonprofit organization based in, not Michigan, South Carolina. Here's a copy of their 990. And on it, you'll see it refuses to disclose its donors, citing a national right-to-work case decision that doing so may chill the donor's First Amendment right to association in private with the organization. In other words, if we tell you who's giving us money, they're going to stop giving us money. There's not much that you can find on the website about CIE, but I did find a little gem. And once again, the font is small, so I'll read to you. CIE provides free legal services to employees opposed to unions and is the only one of its kind in the nation. For the last 8 years, CIE has quietly helped the employees of nearly 60 companies become union-free. But we have not only been able to address a small but we have only been able to address a small fraction of the problem. This is not due to the lack of solid cases, but rather the lack of funds and therefore resources to take them on. 101 years ago, Justice Louis Brandeis wrote in Harper's Weekly that sunlight is said to be the best of disinfectants. Once Gary Hammer, Kevin Johnson, Stephanie Lewis, and other activists in Wicomico County pulled back the curtains and let the sunshine in, exposing Michigan attorneys and South Carolina funders, members resoundingly decided to reject the move to disaffiliate. Kelly Stevenson went on to drop her membership and is using the old Wicomico Educators web address to host a new site, one promoting the newly formed Eastern Shore Education Association. They're starting to reach out to educators even beyond the Wicomico County borders, encouraging them to drop membership in their locals and instead join ESEA. ESEA. You have to ask yourself, what in the world were they thinking when they picked that name? ESEA. In closing, I encourage you to reflect on 3 points. First, great collaborative labor management partnerships are underway in many locals in Maryland. Partnerships only possible if the union is both strong and engaged. These initiatives support traditional union efforts to improve bread and butter conditions. Are there opportunities in your school system, in your local? Second, while MSEA is among the most influential public sector unions in the nation, we should know where we are the most vulnerable and we should address it. Currently, 13 of our 21 ESP locals have membership levels below 50%. We must drive these numbers up, and MSEA will be devoting resources to this effort. And teachers, if you're in a school system, in a local, where the ESP membership is at 30 or 35 or 40%, it's in your interest to help them turn things around. And finally, as we continue to strengthen our union, we must remain vigilant. When someone tells a member how to drop their membership or find liability insurance somewhere else, know that their intentions are not noble. Continue to uncover their real motivations and the funding sources behind their efforts. Remember, sunlight disinfects. Those gathered in this room with the support of a dedicated, talented, passionate staff have built an incredible union. It's been my pleasure to serve you over the course of what now is 10 fall representative assemblies. Together, starting with a strong finish to the 2014 campaign, we will continue to build our strength. Thank you very much.